Are you bored stiff? Are you looking for a sci-fi whodunit set in the red dust planet of Mars? Then look no further than WAY by S.J Morden. This book was released back in 2018 and is 358 pages and structured into 29 chapters. WAY follows a group of prisoners being taken to Mars to build the very first set-up colony base. Why are prisoners doing the work? Because it's easy to cut expenses, and who cares if criminals go up and do all the work, right? Our neighborhood planet Mars is always a good starting point for good sci-fi. It builds up the imaginations that people have had for the last few decades since going to the moon. It's close, it's possible, it's perfect for fiction. The main hook of this book is the characters and the struggle that they have as a murderer is in their midst. We follow our main protagonist, Frank, who tries to be his very best at being approachable and is largely the one who deals with the bulk of the murders, as the megacorporation XO, who sent all of them up there, have gone radio silent on him. So here's a few things that I think are worth sitting up in your coffin for WAY. Now, Frank is a very relatable character, unlike some of his criminal counterparts. He has a very redeemable quality to him. You know that from the very instant. It may be very predictable to say he has a redeemable quality to him, but you kind of get the gist from the prison standpoint of this story. There is another character in this group that has a very redeemable quality to him, but you wouldn't tell from the early get-go. In fact, I think the very description of this guy's character will instantly make you think that, nope, he is not redeemable in any way, shape or size. But it's actually quite a surprise to know that he is. A little hint there for when you do pick it up. And in contrast to this, the usual band of criminals who are irredeemable is the much more realistic part of this whole story. I know that there's one prisoner that's always redeemable type of story, or sometimes they do plan on doing the whole group as redeemable and try to beat the system, but no, these guys are straight up criminals. You know that very early on, as well as Frank's arc, and it makes for more interesting story writing in my opinion, because sometimes most places you would want to see nobody die, but this one, I feel like you might get some satisfaction. That might be a turn off for some people wanting to be hooked by the characters, but some of them, I think you'll be fine without losing them. Now, at this moment in time, we know space travel to Mars may very well be within our timelines. Hopefully. I'm certainly keen to see it. And with this comes a great expansive opportunity for those type of corporations that will exploit any means necessary to get there first and to claim financial victory. You see it scattered throughout the books when XO is mentioned. The book is quite straightforward in this, but similarities within our own timeline stick out without being way too corny. It's very on the nose, to say the least. But while that realistic hook kind of works for this type of story, I'm afraid that there will be some things that will make you sit back in your coffin when it comes to this story. Once you've gotten past the first two victims of the party of 8, it starts to get really easy who the suspected killer is. The story was going to lean that way due to the very small setting, but for our group of 8, and for them to interact and start getting very twitchy as to who is who, it does make the experience a little bit more enjoyable. But I think for some reason, some readers like myself and have a keen eye for spotting a murderer will probably know who it is by, like, say, maybe 100 so pages in. It takes a lot of build up to actually get up to the base and set up everybody's role. Some of that may look at that as a positive, others may think of it as a negative, but character wise it's good, but it's basic. Some stand out, some don't, and I think if you've got a favourite besides Frank, you'll have a tough time trying to find the mystery enjoyable if you don't like any of the characters, which I won't fault you for if you don't. Now, but I find that to be a strength for the characters' motivations. You know what they've done and you know how they'll act. Some you'll be glad to see go. It is a very excitable read, especially when stuff in the base starts going down and when they have to work together. Some will not work together, and That will just at least make some of the plot line a lot more entertaining for you. You want to see Frank mainly beat this company and redeem himself for his family. I do recommend you give this book a try. Like I said, it can be basic at times, but it is a very good one, and I know that the sequel is out there, which I haven't read yet. But what do you think about One Way? Have you read it? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you're not bored stiff now. Come back again, and we'll have another book ready for you here on the coffin table.